Welcome to another episode of Growing Ecommerce. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Ryan.
Chris is also here.
The other one.
Hello, sir.
Hey, so we've got a pretty big episode for you today. We're mostly going to be talking about OpenAI and ChatGPT. We'll be talking about ads in ChatGPT. The first revenue figures have come out. We'll be talking about ChatGPT killing another e-commerce feature, another one already. And of course, we have some behind the scenes look at why they killed the last one too. So it's going to be an interesting episode. Stick with us.
I would stick with us for sure. I mean, what about our Sam Altman fan club now? Do we jump ship, or have we ever been on it?
What's Sam Altman fan club? I'm not a member.
Me neither.
But regular listeners will know that. So,
talking about Sam Altman and OpenAI, Mike,
yeah.
The revenue numbers are out for their ads business, and the numbers look super strong, aren't they?
I guess it's a matter of perspective. It's a burn rate half full or burn rate half empty kind of situation.
Let's talk about the numbers, Mike. What are they telling us?
So they hit 100 million ARR. That's annual recurring revenue, in case you're not in with the Silicon Valley buzzwords or buzz acronyms, within 2 months.
Wow.
I mean, I am an asshole for laughing at that because that's very impressive. That's a huge amount of money.
My wow was also rather meant not that seriously, because the numbers look great face value.
Yeah.
But I think it's really more about than ever to really put this whole thing in perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Did OpenAI share anything beyond that? I mean, they probably framed the shit out of this 100 million ARR, right? They are positive about it. They see the trajectory and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, 100 million in 2 months is an incredible number by many benchmarks, and but like, I guess the question is, that's how big it is right now, and the question is, how big could it get?
Yes.
That's what everyone's wondering, and probably including themselves. And the directional hints that we got from that, I'm getting these numbers through CNBC, but they reported that 85% of U.S. users are eligible to see ads. So they're in the freemium, it's like this free model or the Go subscription, one of these ones. And less than 20% are seeing ads on a daily basis, according to OpenAI. And that's a blurry number for me personally.
That's super blurry. But I mean, look, going back to this 100 million AR, I mean, can you imagine how many companies would die for having
raising my hand
here too? I mean, creating a run rate, a yearly AR, a run rate of 100 million analyzed is just amazing within 2 months.
Yeah.
But to put this in perspective, I would encourage everyone to understand how much money is behind this 100 million AR.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about money invested, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, I just digged into some numbers to get also a feeling for this 100 million AR, because I was stunned, honestly, after 2 months. You know, we talked about Walmart and there were a lot of negative indications going on, and still 100 million AR. So well done. But if look at the burn rates of OpenAI. For the year 2025, roughly 9 billion. Projected burn rate annualized. Projected burn rate for 2026 is 14 to 25 billion revenue. So these are the burn rates this company has. And why does 100 million AR make a lot of sense, or maybe don't make a lot of sense now? Because what is the path to close this burn rate, right? This is the question we have been talking about a lot of times. And the 100 million AR are not going to make it, of course.
Yeah.
And the trajectory needed to burn 14 to 25 billion burn rate in 2026, I think this trajectory is not there. And this is why I'm rather, I don't know, negative and hesitant about, I don't know, to celebrate these numbers big time, like some media outlets did, because look at the burn rates they have to cover.
Yeah.
100 million AR is nothing, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah. And I mean, we've looked at from leaked slide decks and stuff in the past, their breakdowns of where they expect ads to go, and what percentage of that, like that's one revenue stream among others. Sam is a big fan of subscriptions. Commerce, we'll talk about in a minute what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on advertising here, and it's not like they can necessarily just cut costs if they want to or something like that, because they need more money coming in. A lot of that money coming in is in exchange for contracted compute values and stuff like that.
And shout out to NVIDIA. Well done here.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like they have a fish hook in their mouth or something, or their hand is in a bear trap. Like and
it is, because if you look at the capital expenses of big competitors like Microsoft, Google, and so forth,
yeah.
I think there's no way to reduce costs. They are playing a game where cost reduction is not part of it. It's not part of the rules.
Yeah.
And again, I know they have different revenue streams, but advertising is one major, from my perspective, my humble opinion is advertising is the one path, one of the major paths to close this burn rate, to make this profitable at one point of time. So that's why I'm like, 2 months, 100 million AR. Look, they had all the buzz in the world, all the momentum in the world. 100 million AR, great, but let's put it in perspective. There is such a long way to go still. It's crazy.
I mean, so let's just talk about some of these other numbers for a sec. 20% of users are seeing ads on a daily basis. I don't know exactly what that means, because is that the same 20%?
Yes.
Is there like some kind of a split here?
Yeah.
Are there people who are being exposed and people not, or is it a rotating 20%? And what's behind that daily basis? Like, is the platform limiting frequency or exposure somehow?
Are you still testing?
Yeah. Is it because there's just not that many daily active users? I'd love to understand this in a meaningful level, because I think it's not meaningful what's available right now. The other thing, they did mention that because something that they look at is these kind of privacy or trust benchmarks as well. And they say that this is not so far negatively impacting people's perception of privacy or trust, which is very important. That's a huge concern that they have. And the question is, does all this stuff hold at scale? What happens, what do you need to do with frequency in order to generate revenue, or in order to generate marketing outcomes for the advertisers? What needs to happen there? And at what point is there some kind of an inflection point with trust or privacy concerns there? How will that play out? Is 85% of US users are monetizable? I don't know how that compares to other markets. I also don't know exactly, like I don't know how much of their user base is US. I think some people say around 20%, but
100%.
yeah. But how does this extrapolate? Could it be greater than 1 billion if they would go all in? I've seen some estimates that way.
But again, 1 billion AR with a burn rate of, I mean, look, I don't know how much you can trust the numbers here, but let's assume they have a burn rate north of 10 billion a year.
Yeah.
1 million AR. I don't know, because again, the capex for this company won't look different the next couple of years, because competition forces them to spend shitloads of money into their models. So again, even the 1 billion AR, they need other revenue streams to make this profitable at one point of time. And Mike, let's do some math here. 20%. Let's assume, so if they fully scale this now, what does that mean? They show ads to 100% of the users.
Of the 85%.
Of the 85%, yes. Yeah, exactly. So what would that do to the revenue? Is it a 4.5x or whatever? Let's assume it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, then you have an so what leverages do they have to really make this the 2, 3, 4, 5 billion run rate AR?
Yeah.
Is it to have more product shown there to increase the activity of the users? And one other limiting factor I see, Mike, before I hand over to you, is how big of a share of transactional search queries they have in the first place. So how are people using ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And we did some research on that, right? It's roughly 5 to 6% of all the search queries are literally transactional in one way, shape, or form. So I think this is also a massively limiting factor for ChatGPT.
I agree with you on that, but I think they can mitigate that because they can do this a couple of different ways, or they can try to at least, because they can use it in that classic Google keyword-like way where
Okay.
they're matching what people are talking about on somehow commercially relevant stuff. They can also just use ChatGPT as a display surface, and they can use it more like a social feed and just push ads as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Or
So rather in the upper mid funnel,
yeah, they can push
area?
contextual ads or stuff like that. So I think that they have room to shape the product and try that out. And we'll see ultimately where they go. But we've only been talking about one half of the marketplace so far, like talking about these daily active users and stuff like that. The other part is the advertisers.
Yes.
Because like they've
Shouldn't forget about that.
had massive success already in building up a huge consumer audience, and
Yes.
that's what makes us
That worked,
attractive.
yeah. Shout
there.
out to them. Yeah.
So yeah, that's great, but that's half of the challenge. Now they need to onboard spend there.
Yeah.
And
And you need the big advertisers first because the market is more consolidated than ever.
Yeah.
So you need the Walmarts and Co, right?
yeah, I mean, and that's the yeah, we'll talk about Walmart again in a second. But yeah, but they need you. I think it's a lot slower to build out that side of the marketplace because that's this B2B side, and it has a different dynamic than the virality that occurred on the B2C side. Check this out. People were amazed by this product. It looks like magic. It just writes the stuff for you. It was astonishing at the time. It was a new category. But the question is like, okay, its use case to consumers is astonishing. Is its use case to advertisers astonishing?
Yes.
Because that's what advertisers need: astonishing measurement or astonishing performance, or they need to have the feeling that this is an audience that they're not already reaching on Google or Meta or elsewhere, that's even incremental. Because if you're already reaching all these people,
why should, for sure.
It's just, so they have a huge case to prove. And that's what's going to prevent this. This is not overnight going to become a 20 billion revenue.
No, for sure. So, circling back to all the statements we basically already shared on stage here in this podcast. As a matter of fact, it's not that easy to build an ad network.
No.
It's just not that easy. You can have the greatest product in the world, and let's face it, ChatGPT really, they created a new category. Shout out to them. And I use ChatGPT, it's great. But from a retailer perspective, as you said, I would have two reasons to jump on ChatGPT. Reason A is it gives me better performance than Google, Microsoft, Insta, and Co.
Yeah.
Or I reach incremental users, and I might even accept a lower return on ad spend, but it's driving incremental revenue. If these two checkboxes can't be ticked, ChatGPT will be in for a very, very tough game.
Yeah.
Because why should I go there?
Yeah.
So I think this is what they have to tackle, and I think this is not an easy puzzle to solve because the ad market, it's a bloodbath, and you have one player which is just dominating the scene.
Yeah,
Starts with G.
Absolutely, and we looked at in the PPC survey results that we talked about a couple episodes back. We see that most advertisers are continuing. They plan to spend more on Google and more on Meta, and all these secondary and tertiary ad marketplaces struggling. They're staying flat can even be a good outcome for some of these. And so I think OpenAI, it's new. It has certainly a leg up from a sales standpoint on something like Snapchat, a bit of a failed social ad platform. They're in a better position than that, but they're going to need to make a case and fight for either on top budgets or share of existing budgets.
And I just see the shareholder pressure mounting. I mean, at least indirectly with Microsoft. But man, we talked about Walmart, but before we want to talk about a feature they killed.
Yeah,
right?
let's switch over from ads to commerce. So OpenAI killed off another
feature,
commerce feature, yes, and this was their shopping research model.
And the feature had, I think the purpose of this feature was a very, very good one.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the idea was that people were searching for product suggestions, product advice, whatever, in ChatGPT, and the results were not that great, not that relevant, etc. And the idea of this was that they would post-train a model specifically for shopping research, shopping tasks, things like that. And just if you're not up to speed with all the buzzwords out there, post-training is, you could think of it like, I like to always make comparisons to the way humans learn. There's probably all this pre-training and stuff like that. The foundation model is like, a lot of that's contained basically in our DNA, in our evolution, in our genetic memory, the structure of our brain, whatever. But we still need to go to school. So we come with a huge amount of innate knowledge. We learn a lot in our first years and stuff like that. But then for a specialized task, you might need to even go to university or a master's degree. So this is a bit like ChatGPT sending their model to college for shopping.
A shopping college.
That's what the post-training is like. And the outcome of that, they said that the suggestions were like twice as relevant and accurate. So that's great.
Way more in depth.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the behavior of the model was a lot different here. So it was more similar to one of their research ones. It would look at, at least 10 times as many websites. It was doing more than just scraping Google Shopping. Imagine that. They did something besides scrape Google Shopping. But yeah, they scraped the rest of the internet. So, but it could potentially look at hundreds of individual web pages, like product landing pages, and across dozens of different sites, like domains. And the thing is that takes time, and
that time was killing adoption.
Yeah, exactly. So a friend of the podcast, Joe of Marketplace Pulse fame, he wrote about this on LinkedIn, and he gave an example, and it took minutes to get, and it ultimately delivers a personalized report. And I don't know if like a report is that's still not a good e-commerce experience. That's not necessarily what users even want. But yeah, OpenAI's own commerce product leads were like, people are only willing to wait a couple of seconds.
Yes.
And so in that case, the trade-off doesn't work. It's better for them to get worse results, but it's faster.
Yes.
This is actually better for what the users want in the end, which is just fascinating how that shakes out.
Yeah, it's interesting because from my perspective, that in-depth, rich analysis for my purchasing journey, especially when I'm looking for, let's say, high-priced products. I think the idea is a great one, because that's where I think ChatGPT could have maybe some advantages over others. So I still like the idea. But again, the time issue is a real one, because let's face it, we talked about that, right? Time is one of the most scarce resources. Even if you have it, you just don't want to wait in these days.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what I'm very, very curious about is, probably they had a ton of engagement metrics and they made an informed decision. But what was the main reason why they killed it? Was it because it led to nowhere? Was it that really people were not adopting it?
Yeah.
Because I stick to my guns here. The basic idea is a good one.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain target groups out there which might even adopt this. Do you have any specific reason why they killed it?
Not in too much more detail than that. I think the adoption and engagement were too low. And they blame that on the feature being too slow.
Yeah.
So, but there's a chance. It's the way that feature, I agree, the idea is not bad, but ultimately the way the feature was packaged and delivered didn't work.
Didn't survive.
The users didn't have the right expectation going into it. And maybe they'll take that work and apply it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But because if you've done this post-training, I think that's something they probably need to do anyway.
Yeah. Again, I think not the best sign that they kill these features here and there.
Well, but it shows you also why they have this dependence, or why they go to Google Shopping, because Google Shopping can make relevant recommendations instantaneously. Yeah. And so if instead of scraping all these websites and doing a sub-Google job of building a recommendation, they can just scrape Google Shopping and piggyback on that.
Yes. Probably, again, I think it's not the not the best argument for Sam Altman to, raise another couple of billions to be invested just to be for the ads revenue, right?
Yeah.
To scrape Google is just so it comes across so fishy. And by the way, man, wouldn't Google be capable of just stopping that in a heartbeat?
Yeah, I don't know what technical measure, but they've taken measures against shopping scrapers in the past. Like
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, like the GTINs are not available in Google Shopping tab anymore, which makes it harder.
Price comparison tools.
Yeah,
here we come.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who they've taken measures in the past to make life harder for shopping scrapers. But scraping, it's usually a bit of an arms race.
Yeah, okay.
And it's also a legal gray zone.
Yeah.
In most
Has
cases.
always been.
Yeah, like, okay, you're clearly violating Google's terms of service, but are you breaking the law? That's something else. And yeah.
Mike, this is really a session dedicated to OpenAI, because the last content piece of today is we talked about the advertisers. They have the users, but are they really winning over the advertisers? Not just to use their technology, but to really spend truckloads of money on it. And there's some news about Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we heard, and we talked about this a while back, that OpenAI was already stopping their instant checkout, and we'll see what they do to iterate on that. There might be new news by the time this episode airs. But interestingly, Walmart was one of the testers on that, and
it was kind of joint venture-ish, even, right?
And by the way, OpenAI's goal here was to have a commission model on this. So, and potentially to insert ads, there could be a combination, but at least, again, another revenue stream for them, commissions. And Walmart was testing this. They had like 200,000. This was reporting from Wired. They had 200,000 products live. And some of them were eligible for instant checkout, and some of them, like, due to higher price or more options or shipping or whatever, imagine an expensive item like a TV, I don't know what. This stuff had to go through the website.
Yes.
So either you'd make your purchase there in ChatGPT, or you'd click out to Walmart's website. Now, in principle, you should have a higher conversion rate in ChatGPT, right? Isn't that the sense of it? You're there, you're in the user interface.
No shitty website.
It's saving you a visit, right? To some other one-stop shop, right? And Walmart was like, what the fuck? The conversion rates are 3 times lower in ChatGPT than when they click out to our website.
It's fascinating.
And that, even though it has a whole extra step.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
And they quit.
and very bad. Yeah, and they said the test is over. And so why, if they, like, it's not a good sign at all for the quality of the experience. And then that you want to monetize it with commissions feels very shaky at that point.
Yes. I mean, look, the commissions wouldn't be even because I think the reason why this didn't work is because the consumer, the Mikes and Chris's and all the average shows out there just said, look, it's a shitty experience, I assume. It's not working for me. And this might be very telling for, we talked about this future of e-commerce, right? That all the big platforms will aim to install this zero-click event, this in-chat purchase, because it opens new revenue streams and they have more control over the customer.
They get more data.
But this is, for me, the first rather representative test. Walmart is a massive big brand. I think they were very, very precise with regards to, okay, which products are part of this test. So I don't think that they put shitty products in this test. I assume they were serious about it because they had a kind of a joint venture-ish relationship with OpenAI. And it completely failed. 3x lower. I mean, you just said it, like, it's a 3x lower.
Can you imagine what one of our clients would say to us?
It's beyond. So it's very telling, and I think more details hopefully will come out.
Yes.
I would really be super interested in what was the main reason.
Yeah.
Because if the end consumer is not adopting this in-chat purchasing option, I mean,
it's a warning sign. Like, I think
to others, like Google and
Google,
Co,
they've got to do it better. Was this what was this about? Was it was it bad user interface design? Was it a trust thing? What was it all about? They've got to get to the bottom of it.
Maybe a combination of it.
And it's easy. I have and an endless amount of Schadenfreude for OpenAI and Sam Altman, and I'm acknowledging my bias here.
This is the dark side of Mike Ryan, ladies and gents.
Yeah, I think I have a reputation for being pretty like low key and stuff like that. But I also
you can be dark.
Yeah, and I go dark places with that company. But it's it's too early to be kind of not taking a victory lap, but or declaring that this is over, that Agentic is over, either for them or more broadly. I've also, by the way, I've been kind of a bear on this podcast as well about agentic commerce in general. I think AI assisted commerce makes a lot of sense. Whether all this agentic stuff will play out the way people imagine, I'm not sure about.
It will at least take way longer than a lot of people expect.
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's very early days here. I think OpenAI learned some costly lessons here. Everyone learned lessons. And we have to see what's going to come next, because it's also unrealistic to expect that this stuff would perform so well. And that was the hype. The hype was that this is
exactly
going to be...
It works instantly. And then
this is this new intent layer and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's some truth to that, but it doesn't mean that it's just an instant unlock.
Yes. And look, I mean, I can tell from all the conversations we have with our clients, and the numbers back it somehow. You can see that the trajectory ChatGPT referrals have for our clients, for the clients we work with. So there is volume, but at the end of the day, the clients look very closely at the numbers in detail.
Yeah.
What does this traffic bring to my top and bottom line? And the top line might be incremental, which is fine, but if the bottom line is not meeting some of the expectations of our clients, I think ChatGPT and clients will take decisions here. There might be a lot of hype going on with ChatGPT, but if my conversion rate is 50% lower compared to other channels, and I have limited budgets, I don't fuck around. I mean, look, I will move my budget away from ChatGPT and spend it in other places. And one thing, Mike, which I believe in is, and I know our clients, and we have a huge client base, and we have talked to a lot of leads as well. If a client is testing a channel and it's not working, it's hard to get them again down the line. This is the if I would be somehow involved in these product strategic decisions, is I would be very, very careful with the rollout of these new features, because if the channel is not working and the client is gone for good, it's hard to bring them back.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether it's happening in the name of ChatGPT, whether you have your agencies trying to bring them back, it's hard.
The level of scrutiny will be so much higher.
So yeah. I mean, look, I don't like Sam Altman, and he doesn't give a flying fuck about me. Rightfully so. He has accomplished a lot of things in his life, no doubt about that.
Of course.
But he hasn't ever been open and fair about the whole ad relevance to the business. I mean, there was this one statement where
he called it some number of dimes.
Not number of dimes. But hopefully it will be more than dimes, because else you're fucked.
Self-fulfilling prophecy right there.
Sam, it's on.
All right. Look, if you want some number of dimes, you're going to get some number of dimes. Here you go, buddy.
All jokes aside, so I'm not a big fan of him as a person, but I would love ChatGPT to really be part of this revolutionary new ads dynamic going on. I think it would be good for everyone. I don't know. I think they have a lot of obstacles ahead of them.
Yes, and I'll just wrap it up with a little footnote to this Walmart story, which is that at least at time of recording, this stuff changes fast. But the last thing that I heard about this is that Walmart is planning to embed their own chatbot, Sparky, inside of ChatGPT. And so this is really adding insult to
injury. Chatbot in a chatbot.
Yeah, it's like, because I mean, it just says that ChatGPT has, as a product, has no value to Walmart. The only thing they care about is the users. They're going to replace the product with their product functionally. And but I mean, there are reasons why too, like that, because we've talked about first-party data. The platforms want it, the retailers want it, and right now Walmart has that. And so Sparky is connected to their first-party inventory data. It's connected to their first-party audience data, and that experience is going to be much more richer and trigger warning, Sam Altman, personalized, then what's going on inside of okay, they talk about memory there too. They're not entirely enemies of personalization, but Walmart has that already. They have that asset. They don't need to build it up or fake it or guess it. They have it.
Yes. So, and from a product strategic perspective, if the only thing I can offer is a user base, which face value is not bad. I mean, if you have users,
it's an asset.
It's an asset,
but it's not a 24 billion burn rate asset.
That's the thing. And what is your product strategy around it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish Sam all the best. Again, he doesn't need my wishes for sure, but I want ChatGPT to strive.
No,
it will be good for everyone. Because the more pressure there is on Google, even better they will get, which again is good for everyone.
I hope he proves me wrong. I really do.
Or maybe someone else. Let's see how long.
I love to be proven wrong. I have no ego about that. Please prove me wrong.
Yes.
But let's leave it at that note.
Let's end it on the high note.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks everyone for listening. This has been another episode of Growing Ecommerce, brought to you as always by Smarter Ecommerce, also known as SMEC. To learn more, you can visit smarter-ecommerce.com. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a shout out on social media, recommend us to a friend, give us a star or 5-star rating, I should say.
Yes. Rather five stars than 1 star.
Oh no, I'm going to get some number of dimes.
Except for philanthropy.
Yeah, give us please 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.